Hi everyone! I'm so happy that you joined me today as I paint this very special picture of an area in my neighborhood where a beaver has created a dam. It used to be a small creek in my back area, and I was able to go down there and just watch the water flow by. But this year, a family of beaver have settled in and they've decided to make this their home. In doing so, the water has created this huge pond and it's changed the ecosystem in the backyard. So let's talk about what I'm doing here. What I've done is kind of sketched out a little bit of where I want the trees to remain and the shape of the pond, along with some of the leaves. And with the leaves, I'm using some masking fluid just to preserve the white, because later when I come back in, after I've used a lot of the different colors of the browns and the greens in the background, I want to make sure the leaves in the foreground really pop with that light spring color. As I learned about the beaver in the backyard, I learned that they were knocking all kinds of trees down, but they preferred hardwood. So they were the smaller, thinner trees in the back, and they chewed right through the base. And you'll see a picture of that here, and they would just take them right down. Some of the other people in the neighborhood had to cut the trees down depending on where the trunks landed for safety reasons. And you'll see that in the second picture. So I'm adding some burnt sienna mixed with some burnt umber, and I'll add a little bit of indigo to that mix later to add some darker shades. But I wanted to keep the left side of these trunks a little bit lighter. And as I build up from the lightest to the darkest, you'll see how I add some darker shades. As I learned more about the beaver taking up residence in the back of our neighborhood, I learned a lot about their noises at night. I learned about what they eat, and that they're part of the ecosystem in our area, which was fascinating to me. So learn more about the animals in your area as well, because everybody plays a role. Beavers are one of the only mammals, other than ourselves, that change their environment to suit their own needs. Think about that. The sounds that they make are adorable, although I haven't heard the cute little baby beaver sounds that you might hear on the internet. I have heard their warning calls, and that might be when a predator is close by. I'm trying to build depth and distance to that cliff rise in the back, and also recognize that there is a hill further back that goes up into the sunlight. And here I added some green, very light green, to show that the sun is hitting those trees in the back, along with a little bit of shading underneath. I lifted up some of the masking fluid, and now I'm adding a very light sap green mixed with a little bit of Hansa yellow medium. And I'll come back with just some sap green to shadow the leaves underneath to give them some form and depth. I learned that beavers know how to hold their breath underwater for 15 minutes. I remember when I was little, we had a pool in our backyard, and it was the biggest joy when we learned how to hold our breath for a minute underwater. It was a challenge for all of my siblings to see who can hold their breath the longest. And to make it to a minute was a big deal. It hurt, but we tried our best. As we come to the close of this painting, I want to introduce my pup, Kepler. She goes on most walks with me. And I want to thank you again for joining me and taking time out of your day to watch this video. I hope it encourages you to either step outside and look at your surroundings, because you never know what you might find, maybe even a beaver dam like this one. Or if you'd like to pick up a paintbrush, why not start today? Leave a comment if you have any questions. I'm happy to help guide the way. Have a great day.